but we are awakening. We're awakening as a collective, and as a collective, we are getting closer and closer to everybody understanding that love is the only answer. Compassion is the only answer. Because we're all struggling with something. We all have our own trauma, and you don't know. It could have gone a lot differently. You know, it just happened to go this way for us.
Absolutely right.
And now I know that it was all for a reason.
This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by Greg Swartz at Remax Victory and Affiliates. Greg brings heart, hustle, and honesty to every deal. Call Greg at 937-477-8975 today and tell him The Recovery Couch sent you. Hey, what's up, sobriety gangsters? Welcome back to The Recovery Couch. So excited about today's guest, Alicia Bond. We met through a mutual friend over a social media network. She was doing awesome work where she was basically showing redemption pictures of people in recovery. And I loved it. We've connected, and now she's going to be on the show. You're going to love this episode. Alicia Bond. Alicia, how you doing today?
Hello, that was beautiful, by the way. I loved your intro.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Great.
Yes, thank you for being a guest.
You're welcome. You definitely have a way of speaking.
Well, thank you very much. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm coming out of, like you said, sometimes I struggle with gratitude, and I'm coming out of like some heavy days, you know, just trying to help to pull other people out of the darkness, you know, and it comes in waves. But I'm really good, and I'm blessed, and I'm grateful to be in the place that I'm at today. Because
amen. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're on a similar mission, and it does get heavy. This is basically ministry work, and we'll get to kind of where you're at in your career in a minute. But why don't you tell us a little bit just about where your addiction started and kind of take it from there?
Sure. So I'm originally from Bowling Green, Ohio. So I grew up in Bowling Green. My mom was a single mom, and she is my biggest supporter in my life. You know, I really had a very decent childhood. My dad wasn't around much. He struggles with addiction as well. And, you know, that will definitely come into play later down the road. But, you know, my mom's family is extremely supportive. You know, I had a fun childhood. I grew up in a college town. So I grew up in a college town, you know, with a single mom that worked her butt off every day to provide for me and give me the things that I wanted and needed. And that looks like a little bit more freedom than maybe I should have had. But, you know, she did her absolute best. And it really, a lot of it's on me because I just wanted it. I wanted to be out running around with people. I wanted to be in the mix of everything. You know, I've always been kind of a social butterfly and wanting to be around people. So the interesting thing is that I remember a time in my life when I would think or talk about my dad, and I would say, that is never going to be me. This is like everybody, right? That's never going to be me. I'm never going to do drugs. I'm never going to party. But it was like just something I said. And then the first time it was ever offered to me, I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. You know, it was like all those years of saying, I'm not going to. And then, you know, once it came to me wanting to be included, and, you know, so it was like, here we go. You know, all of a sudden I was bebopping around all different social groups and drinking on the weekends mostly, you know, but it didn't really take long before. That's why I always say, like, I didn't choose to be an addict. Addiction chose me, because it was like from the start, like, this is how my life was meant to go, because it was from the start. Never, you know, I think the first time I ever took a drink, I blacked out. Like, the first time I ever drank, I blacked out. And so, but I loved it. I loved the confidence it gave me. I love talking to boys, and, you know, so, you know, I was just turned into a party girl from a pretty young age. But
give us a time frame. What age are you talking about?
12
12 years old.
12. Yep. So 12.
And I've actually We share that in common. I lived in Bowling Green for a
You
while.
did? I didn't.
What's that main road when you come off 75? What is that?
Booster.
Yeah. Yeah, I lived off Wooster for a while. Yep, yep. So what I do know about Bowling Green is that most of the partying is, the college, the college kids. Were you partying with college kids, or what
Absolutely.
a lot of the college people call the townies?
The
Was
townie.
that a thing?
I was a
Yeah.
townie. Yes. I was partying with the townies and the college kids and the townies' parents and the who else or who knows who else.
So 12 years old, you get introduced what alcohol it sounds like.
Alcohol, weed. Yeah. But
And what
at the same time as that, at 12 years old was when I discovered I could sing. So at 12, I like found my demise and my gift at the same time, right? Um, so yeah, what was the question you just asked?
Oh, I didn't really kind of just wanted to know kind of what happened after you started drinking. So, but now you got me curious about the gift. I've heard you sing. You got a beautiful voice. How does that come into play?
So that comes into play like, all of a sudden I'm like experimenting with all these things at 12, mostly just drinking and like smoking cigarettes, maybe smoking weed. But I've all of a sudden found this thing that I really want to do, which is sing and perform. So my choir teacher in junior high was like, I think you can sing. You should come sing at my church. So I'm introduced to drugs and alcohol, the fact that I can sing, and church all in the same year. Right.
Interesting combination.
Isn't it? Isn't it? So, so I'm partying on the weekends, but I'm going to church on Sunday and I'm in shows all the time, musical theater all the time. It's like the only thing that I want to do. But I'm like failing in school, I'm fighting, I'm getting kicked out of school like on opening days. Like I have a show opening that night and I'm getting suspended from school that day. So I'm totally putting everybody in a terrible position, right? And that's my first experience with letting everybody down and the shame and guilt that comes along with that.
How'd you cope with that?
I drank more. I drank more. I tried more things. I think I was 15 when I tried cocaine. So, but I'm like still trying to grasp onto it with everything that I can because I know it's what I'm good at. So I get kicked out of school and, I'm like homeschooling. And I'm just running around, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not making great decisions. And then a counselor from my high school calls my mom and says, hey, there's a performing arts school opening in Toledo, and we think that she should go there. And my mom's like, yeah, definitely, let's check it out. So I walk into this performing arts high school. I'm 15, and I walk in, and it was like I've had a few moments in my life that I can remember that are surreal to me, like I was being shown something. And I walk into this building, and it's not even like a nice building or anything like that. It was just turned into a school, right? And I walk in and I have this feeling of like, oh my God, these are my people. These are my people. Because I always felt a little weird. You know, I just always kind of felt like I was just a little weird, you know? And when I walked in, it was like everybody was weird. It was great.
Oh, I love it. Hold on, let me ask a couple questions. So your mom's still your rock. Like, so you're homeschooled. She knows the decision making, but she's still the rock, and she's still supporting you. But you're still kind of going out and making, some party decisions.
Yeah. And we're fighting. Like
And
mom and
then,
she's telling me like, you have to stop doing this stuff. And we're like going back and forth all the time. And, you know, also my first experience with always letting her down, you know?
right. So, but there's other people that noticed your talent too. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called your mom and said, "Hey, we got this performing arts school in Toledo that we think Alicia would be a great fit for." So your talent wasn't just recognized by you. Other people had recognized it and still had your back, even though they kicked you out of school.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Super cool. So you find your people. They're weird. I'm weird. You said you're weird. So I love. Okay, take us from there.
Okay.
Take us from there.
Yeah. So, okay. So I, I'm starting to see, like, I'm starting to get the reactions from people like, okay, like, I am really good at this. Like, but, just my personality, I kind of start to take advantage a little bit. Like, I'm still partying a lot. I love the fact that I party and nobody else does around here. So at this school, right? So, so I think I'm like, just craziness. I loved this feeling of like feeling important. And this is like a very surface feeling for me then, right? And now I look back and I know I'm filling this huge void, right? Because I just want to be noticed. I just want to be noticed. I like people watching me. I like the attention. And I also know that I can get out of trouble with it at this school because they're just very relaxed, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on performing. So, and I know that, and I know I'm good at it. So like, just that kid thing of like trying to see what you can get away with, and being in an environment where that's what was important, and what was important I was good at. And so, I was, in a little bit, sometimes in an enabling situation, maybe you might say, as was all of us. We all were. Like, none of us were doing very great in school at certain points. Like, we just wanted to sing and dance and perform. That's what we wanted to do. Um, but I remember being 17 and, you know, but let me just say though, the school was amazing. I'm not saying like, they were letting us get away with everything. It was just a very close environment. Like my graduating class was 21, and that was the biggest one they'd had so far.
So intimate. But the relationships were intimate. Like you cared about somebody enough to be like, hey, I'm not going to tell on you, but I noticed like close. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah. So, but I do remember being about 17 and like things are getting out of hand at this point. Like I'm not sleeping before I go to school. Like I'm up all night, I'm partying, and then I'm going to school and I'm thinking I'm just going to go in and be able to, take, going to be able to do what I need to do when I get there, which obviously was an unrealistic expectation.
Perform.
Right. And so I remember going to my guidance counselor one day and saying, I think I have a problem. Like, I think that we might need to do something about this, because I remember one specific day that I was driving to school and I fell asleep at the wheel because I've been up. And I cannot tell you, and you probably have so many of these stories too. We all have so many of these stories where you're like, oh, I should have been dead. Should have been dead, like barely missing a tree, on my way to school, high school, because I've been up all night doing cocaine. And I'm thinking, so that's my first real like realization of like, maybe I should tell somebody that I'm really struggling.
So you at this point you're driving from Bowling Green to Toledo. You're taking 75. And where did you go off the road?
I don't remember, honestly. It was like somewhere on Reynolds Road.
Okay, so not on 75.
No,
You were
no, no, no. It's like somewhere on Reynolds Road. Like I was getting closer to the school, and you know, I don't even know if I've ever told anybody that, to be honest with you. Some of these things I did not, I don't think I've ever told anybody that, but I remember it so vividly, like going up on the curb and just, and I'm a young driver too. Like I'm not a great driver, never have been, to be quite honest with you. Still not, still can't drive for nothing. Can't park.
uh,
Worse at parking.
oh my God, Alicia. So you almost hit this tree. You go in and you kind of tell on yourself, like, hey, I think I got an issue.
Yeah, and like I said, I had a lot of people in my life that cared about me, but for some reason nothing came of it that time. I don't remember exactly why, but I remember us, calling my mom and us all talking about it, and it just didn't really go anywhere that time.
Okay,
Like
so
my first
it's
experience of dodging treatment
right.
for whatever.
So what happens? I mean, do you stay in school?
Stay in
Do you
school.
keep partying?
I stay in school. I keep partying. Nothing changes for me. Nothing changes. But I'm making all these plans. So I'm making all these plans because I want to be on Broadway. That at that point, like that's what I wanted to do. Um, so I started auditioning for colleges in New York City, and I got in one, And so that was my plan. I was going to move to New York City right after I graduated from high school. And because my mom is the supportive mother that she is, and she knew, what my dreams were, she even helped take out private loans to send me there, And so 10 days, I'd managed to graduate from high school, and 10 days later, I moved to New York City.
Graduated from the Performing Arts School in Toledo.
Yep.
10 days later, with the help of your mom and some student loans, you're up New York City. Big Apple.
Big Apple. And I am like, I'm feeling like this is it. I'm going to make it. This is where I'm supposed to be. I felt so confident there. There were so many different kinds of people, and just so many different things to learn and experience. And, I'm going to this musical theater school, and I couldn't have been happier. So I'm going to school and I'm doing really well, but I'm partying. Like, I'm still partying. I'm problem drinking. Absolutely. I'm loving this idea of going around New York City and going to these parties and riding in cabs and the subway and, can barely walk. Who knows where I'm going to end up? Getting lost on subways, ending up in places I didn't know. Extremely dangerous situations,
What substances are we talking about right now?
We're talking about alcohol, but I had
strictly alcohol at this point.
Well, I had already started experimenting with crack cocaine back home because not because I'm not going to do that, but that is what my dad was on. And also what my very close friend's father was on as well. So, sick adults make sick decisions. And, we were all partying with older people who were doing very hard drugs. So I was usually with somebody when I was doing that, right? Back in the day, back in high school. But now I get to New York, I'm drinking problematically, and I don't know about you, but when I drink problematically, I want to get high. So, wait, hold on. Not even when I drink problematically. If I take one drink in 4 minutes, I'm going to want to get high. Period. And that's how it's always been for me. So after being in New York for a little while, I start seeking people out, to buy drugs.
Elaborate.
Okay. Well, and specifically, I think I'm invincible. I think I'm invincible there. And I'm just asking anybody for drugs. I'm getting drugs from anybody. This one specific time, I remember I was getting some cocaine for us, and my dealer said, stand on the corner and I'll pick you up. Well, I'm standing on the corner, and this Escalade or whatever it was comes up and stops right in front of me and rolls down the window. So I'm like, well, there he is. So I hop in the car. We start driving down the road. Yeah. So we start driving down the road, and I start talking. Obviously, I think we've already made a plan. But looking back now, this person was like trying to understand my plan. Like, what was I talking about? Because he was a drug dealer too, and he wanted to sell me drugs. So this is not even the same person that I've been talking to. I don't even realize it. He tells me that my drug dealer sent him. So I'm in this random car, and I'm driving down the road in New York trying to buy drugs. And this is not even the person I was on the phone with. This is just some random person that picked me up on the corner. And I get out of the car, and I'm like, I got what I needed. So I'm just like, oh shit, well, that was scary. Walk along. So, I'm getting myself in these really dangerous situations. And I'm basically tap dancing during the day, and I'm smoking crack in Harlem at night. And nobody knows. Nobody knows.
The people in Harlem don't know that you're...
They don't even know me. I don't
tap dancing.
No, they don't know that I'm like... Well, they can tell. They're like, little white girl, like, where are you from?
And then the people that you're tap dancing with it takes a while for them to catch on. How long?
I was in my third semester, 3 out of 4 semesters. And I had 1 semester left, and I called my mom about...
To graduate?
To graduate. I got 1 semester left. But you know how it is when you're coming down. And so one night, after I'd been up for God knows how long, I call my mom at 4 a.m. and I say, Mom, we got a problem. I'm messed up. So I think she definitely already knew that I had struggled before, and I don't think she was necessarily surprised. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But I don't think she was necessarily surprised, but she was there in 12 hours to pick my ass up.
So she hopped straight in the car.
Her and my grandparents hopped straight in a car, drive to New York City, and pick me up. And that was my first huge failure.
This episode of the Recovery Couch is brought to you by JB Davis at South Dayton Toyota. For integrity, service, and unbeatable deals, call JB and his team at 513-267-5225 and tell them the Recovery Couch sent you.
You know?
Seemingly, yeah. I mean, to you, yeah, I can understand why you say that.
Looking back, it was like, that started my whole, we're getting deeper into this shame and guilt and getting so close, but losing it all because of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So
what did you leave New York with? Well, I mean, was there an apartment? Did you have to pack up, or did they just swoop you up and back to Bowling Green?
Yep. I was in a dorm. They swooped me up, and that was it. We left and came back to Ohio. So
what, how were you back in Ohio? What's it like? Vibe wise, decision-making wise, what next steps, all that?
I think we're still just kind of hoping we can take care of this on our own. Like me and my mom, we're still like hoping that maybe this is going to pass. So, I just keep going. I just keep going. And I'm the person that, is passing out just anywhere, and I'm coming up with excuses like, I must have got roofied because I'm passing out on the bar, which I'm sure maybe I did a couple times. Who knows? But I'm just a hot mess. I'm trying to play in bands. I can't sing for shit because I think I sound good when I'm drunk, but I don't sound good at all. Like, I don't know. So basically we get to the point where, it's time to go to treatment for the first time. I had a short bout there when I was in an abusive relationship and like was going back and forth to Florida, like doing that toxic thing where I'm calling my mom like, oh, he's beating me up and blah, blah, blah. Come save me. And then I'm getting sent back to Ohio, and then I'm leaving and going back and forth. Well, I come back on a Greyhound, and when I get to Toledo, I have no luggage. I'm passed out. Nobody can get me off the bus. And I'm traveling by myself. I'm taking drugs from strangers. I have no idea where any of my shit is. And my grandpa has to carry me off the Greyhound like this, like a limp body off the Greyhound. And finally my family said, that's enough. Like, that's enough. Like, you have to do something. So I go to treatment.
How old are you now? How old are you at this point?
I'm 22.
Hold on. In this abusive relationship, where did that come into picture?
I met him partying one night, and it was just a perfect storm of, the toxicity and drugs and alcohol, and, we're like, let's get.
You felt like you were perfect for each other.
Oh, terribly unperfect.
You use, I use.
Yeah. Yes. And at that point, like, I'm so in victim mentality, and I'm in victim mentality for like a lot of this time, like when I'm using and stuff, and I'm in victim mentality, but really like I'm just as bad. Like I'm just as bad. He may be pulling the trigger and putting his hand on me, but I'm sure I did it right back, which is not an excuse. I'm just saying I was just as violent and just as toxic.
So yeah, I appreciate that. So I'd rewind it a little bit. So fast forward back to your grandpa takes you off there like, this is enough.
Yeah. They say this is.
What's that look like?
That looks like you're going to treatment in 2 days. And I'm like, okay, well, I better get it in. So like, for the next 2 days, like I'm just off to the races. People are calling my mom from the bar. Like, you got to come get her. Like, this is bad.
In Bowling Green?
In Bowling Green. My mom's like calling the police, like, hey, I'm going to get, like, they're all like plotting. They're all like plotting against me, but not really against me. I had I had just lost my a very close family member of mine to a drinking and driving accident. And when that happened, I just kind of lost my shit for a minute. I was I have this like big scar on my arm right here.
Yeah, I see it.
And just walking up to, being drunk and walking up to a window and just like, like so angry. And I'm just like, I remember my arm is like just, I mean, I have to go to the hospital. My mom works at the hospital. Okay. My mom's worked at the same hospital for 30 years.
Bowling Green.
Yes. And
Yeah,
so
I've been
I
there.
go in this hospital like, don't call my mom. Don't call my mom. She's upstairs. And I remember the doctor being like, is your blood alcohol level always this high at noon? I'm like, buddy, I didn't start this morning, you know? And so I'm bleeding profusely, especially because I have so much alcohol in my system. So they wrap me up, they wrap my arm up, and I leave the hospital and I go smoke crack. I have this horrible wound. I mean, and this is a through line of my story. Just hating myself so much that I just was so mean to myself all the time, just didn't take care of myself, you know?
Yeah, I do.
So, okay, let me take a second here and let me think. So I go to treatment. I make it to treatment. I make it to treatment. And I actually have quite a wonderful experience. That's the first time it was a 10-week treatment. Okay, first treatment I ever went to was 10 weeks, no nicotine, no sugar. Like, yes. And you were in the same building the whole 10 weeks. You didn't leave unless you went to a meeting. And
Were you allowed outside, or was this like?
like, I mean, well, we had like a little back thing, but I mean, like everything was in
Right,
that
right, right.
building.
Gotcha.
So this is my first exposure really to like group therapy and being around other females who are having these same behaviors, which I just thought I was absolutely nuts. Like I just thought that's just how I was. I was just nuts. And and now I'm like around all these other females that are like having these same experiences and I'm like, okay. And this is where I start to get this first like little glimmer of hope. Like this is not what my life is supposed to be like. This is not the way that my life is supposed to be. And so I finished this treatment program. But the whole time I'm like, all right, what am I going to do next? What's next? Because that's kind of like, that's another thing that kind of always would get me tripped up, like being in the moment and focusing on what's right in front of me. My sister used to tell me, like, you're at the bottom of the stairs and you know what is at the top of the stairs, but for some reason you can't like take the stairs. Like you're just trying to like fly to the top. So, um, so I finished this treatment center and this is back when everything first started with like body brokers. And this is when people start like, okay, so I would say this year is, I would say this year is about 2007. So this is when things really start popping off, right? And people are sending people down to Florida to get clean. People are sending people places
Right.
because this is when the treatment industry really started to, I feel like, really boom. And we were starting with intervention, like that show was coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that anybody's intentions were bad. It was just hard to tell whose was and whose wasn't.
Yeah.
And if
I agree.
came to your family and said, I have the answer, and your family is watching you die, then you just believed them.
Right.
So they sent me to St. Louis. They sent me from Ohio to St. Louis to a sober living. And I was like, St. Louis? This sounds fun. Another city. I love it. I love the city. I love the hustle and the bustle. And I'm like, and they're like, you got to have a job within 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. So I go out looking around and I just see the big Hard Rock sign. And I'm like, oh, I'm working there. I'm working at Hard Rock Cafe. Duh. I mean, the outfits were cute. Everything was going on. The music. Yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I literally start training with somebody else who's in treatment at another place. Some guy. So of course.
You got commonality.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
both,
yeah.
like freaking brand newly sober.
Yep.
Um Didn't even get through training. I didn't even get through training. Me and him, you know, we like, whoa, we should do a shot. And I know damn well that when I do this, I am going to be in a city where I know no one. And I'm going to get kicked out of sober living. So I'm not going to have anywhere to go. And I knew that. Like
I do. Yeah. The first initial treatment in a co-ed situation probably isn't ideal.
well, he just worked with me. He was just in
Yeah.
another, yeah, like he was just,
But he's in treatment also. And
yes.
so I'm with you.
So we're like, yeah, let's do a shot. It'll be fine. We'll just do one. And then I'll go back to treatment. I'll see you here at work tomorrow. Well, didn't you know he smoked crack too? So we don't do a one shot of tequila. All of a sudden, it's 9 in the morning. I'm walking around St. Louis with my guitar strapped on my back. Can't believe I still had it, to be honest with you. Can't believe I didn't sell it. I had no money. I called my mom and I'm like, ah, you know how we do. Like, oh my God. She's like, Alicia, I'm sorry. I can't help you. Click. I was like, oh, shit. And that's the first time that I remember her really ever setting a boundary like that. And the beginning of my story, I kind of flew through a little bit, but you know, she was always there, always there. She knew that growing up, I struggled. She knew I didn't have my dad. I had problems wanting all this attention from boys because of that. I didn't believe in myself very much. I didn't have very much self confidence. So she felt for me in that way. She understood me. And so just like I would want to do for my child, she tried to pick me up, keep picking me up. Okay, come on, let's go. But because she had started getting involved in the treatment programs and, all this treatment stuff, she is like talking to people that are dealing with family members too. And she's starting to realize like, oh, this is going to take me down too. Like I'm giving so much. And she did always give so much. So she hangs up and I have no idea what to do. Plus, I don't have any transportation. I'm using the bus line. And I have nothing with me, maybe a purse and my guitar on my back.
And you can't go back to treatment.
And I can't go back to treatment. And I'm coming down. So, like,
no money,
coming down off drugs, don't know where I'm at. Like, I'm like, what do I do? So, and I know it's like this for everybody, but that super hard cocaine come down is like, just, I'm cool. Just take me out. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And I have experienced that so many times in my life where that come down, I don't know what demon that is, but man. So I took myself to the hospital. I told him I was going to kill myself. And this was my first experience with a psych unit. And it's not like one I've ever experienced after that. It wasn't a detox unit. It was like for real. Like the person I was sharing a room with, like was wearing a helmet and banging their head on the wall. Yeah. And there was just so much confusion. And so I call my mom again, and I don't even expect her to do anything at this time. I'm just letting her know, like, this is what this is like right now. And I'm just so broken. And she finally decides that she's going to get me home. So great. She's going to get me home. They get me to the airport, and I go to the treatment center to pick up my stuff first. So I have a couple bags with me. I go to the airport. I also probably have like $8 somehow. I have like $8 on me. So, tall boy on the way to the airport, why not? Complete insanity. So I start drinking on the way to the airport. When I get to the airport, and when you get yourself in situations like that, there's so many times in my life where there has been a predator around, and because I'm visibly a mess, that try to take advantage of a situation. So I start drinking with this guy at the airport before my flight, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up in the hospital. I've missed my flight. I finally talked my mom into getting me a flight back, and I have missed it because I drank myself nearly to death. I look back now and I just feel so bad for that girl. Like, and I always wake up to like the hottest nurse. Will never forget waking up and being like, there's like this beautiful man standing over me, and I'm like,
Oh, Alicia, I love your honesty, by the way, just so you know. I do. I really do. It's refreshing.
thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. So I make it back to the airport. My mom's got a great way of talking with people too. She talks them into like, listen, my daughter's dying. Like she is dying. We have to get her home. So they let her switch the flight, as far as I know, and I make it back home, and I end up back in that same treatment center.
What, in
So
St. Louis?
no, and back home. So like I go home and
Okay,
then I
okay,
go
okay,
back for
okay.
like a stabilization period.
Yep.
So um fast forward a little bit, I get through that stabilization period. This timeline's a little blurry to me. Oh, I know what it was. I went to sober living, like a transitional house. I get in that transitional house and I'm like, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like this is the time. We're going to do this. So I better sign up for school tomorrow. I better get right into college. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. What's next? How can I make up for all this?
Yep.
So I immediately get myself into college. I'm like, when's this transitional house over? Like, how many months do I have to be here? Because I'm good. And I get through the treatment center. It's like a 9 to 12 month program. Like month 8, day 30. I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. So it's been exactly 9 months, and I will be leaving tomorrow. I'm in school now. I am a college student now.
My life's
My
together.
life is together. I don't have anywhere to live. So they
Oh,
put me in like
shoot.
this recovery apartment building. And it's a sweet setup. Okay, I'm like, okay, so at this time I'm 23, 24.
And what college are we talking?
We're talking about a community college, Owens Community College.
I graduated from
You
Owens.
did?
I
I
swear I did.
loved
Yeah.
Owens. I loved
Yeah.
Owens.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to school for theater, by the way. I'm like, I'm not giving up this dream, which is great. And I'm so glad that I did this. But, people are like, maybe you want to try. No, nope, I'm singing for the rest of my life. So I start college. I get in this recovery apartment, which was a sweet deal. You had your own apartment, your own 1-bedroom apartment. You had to go to meetings. It was like this whole program. I move into this apartment. It's like the first time I'm living on my own. And I'm killing it. I'm going to school. I'm really doing well. And then this boy moved in downstairs. Boy moved in downstairs, damn it.
And he's in his apartment downstairs is a recovery apartment as well.
You know it.
You know it.
You know it. And we are both freshly doing this life.
Yeah.
And
got it figured out.
yeah, got it figured out. I think we both were evicted within 30 days. Right after he moved in. That was right after he moved in. And I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying this is my own shit. It's my own shit that I have, struggled with boundaries so bad, and I just wanted to feel loved.
Yeah.
So the first time a little bad boy came walking around the corner and showed me some attention, I was in love. And, it's just,
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I was in love in the recovery apartment, smoking crack again with my new boyfriend, who this is the first time I ever experienced psychosis with people, because I didn't ever go that I didn't really have psychosis but this person did, and that was the first time I ever experienced psychosis and seeing people have psychosis. So this is the first time that I start experiencing life on the street, because that's where he had come from before he moved.
Toledo guy.
Yes, Toledo guy. He had, was, I didn't really move around like that at that point. So this is the first time that I am really like experiencing the street life, like nighttime, like in the alleys.
So let me see if I can't get a better illustration. There's like white collar drug addicts. Would you have called yourself, like, at this point in time, more like white collar? You always had a place to crash. You always had a place to go.
Definitely.
Now you're with more like a blue collar. with it like street.
Yeah. Like now I'm
Okay,
starting to,
okay, okay. I'm with you.
and I still think I'm invincible. So I still don't know how to act. So I'm like, I'm not under, for some reason, never until the last time that I was out there was I really understanding the like actual danger of these situations that I'm in. And so let's see, where do I want to go with this? What do I want to share here? We run out of money. We run out of money. And I don't think I'm gonna go there. Okay. At this time too, this is I get diagnosed with Hep C for the first time. For the first time. The first time I ever used IV drugs, I got Hep C. Yeah. And I didn't know it. I mean, I obviously didn't know it until I was very, very ill. I was also like still trying to sing. So I was like involved in these contests. I would be on these in these contests at this time. And I'm still like in this recovery apartment, right? And I'm trying to sing and I'm trying to go to school and I'm involved in these contests. Well, it was like a weekly contest, like every Friday night or something like that for like 6-7 weeks. And I'm like doing great. Like I keep advancing. Like the winner gets to go to Nashville and record this album. And it's a Friday or it's like a Thursday and I'm supposed to sing the next day in this contest and my eyes are glowing yellow. Like glowing, and I am deathly, deathly, deathly ill. And so that's when I find out that I have Hep C for the first time. I end up making it to the contest, but I'm still yellow. Like it was a very scary situation. So that's the first time that I find out I have Hep C and I go on the treatment. Now the initially Hep C was an interferon treatment and they were injections. The treatment was really hard on your body. A lot of people lost hair. I know I lost some hair. I didn't lose a lot as many other people. It was extremely hard on your body. So, but you had to be clean. So I was clean then because you had to be clean to be on it. And but I had relapsed after 6 months. I'm injecting myself every day. I have needles laying all over my house. And eventually I slip and I relapse. So luckily for me, the Hep C had already been cured. So I was supposed to be on it for a year, but it was cured after 6 months. Okay, let me see here. I want to get to this. How much time do we have?
I'll put it into 2 episodes, 3 episodes. It don't matter. We got
I always
as long as your
rush
story
because
takes.
I always don't want, I'm always like, I don't want to take up too much time.
No, no, that's the main thing. Your story needs to be told how your story's told. So I'll cut it up into multiple episodes. Find a good cliffhanger. Obviously, cut little discussions like this out.
Okay. So, let's see. So I've cured hepatitis C once at that point. And I'm using again. So I'm using again. Now I know what it's like to be out on the street. I know how to hustle. I know how to get money now. I'm not good at it. But I know how to now. So, but the thing about crack cocaine is that it kind of like I would go for a while, like binge, and then I would stop and like try to pull it together, right? So I was by myself. I ditched Guy because I moved out of that apartment or whatever. My mom came and saved me. But something happened to where I was going to go. It was like one of those situations where I'm like, Mom, I'm going to go here and here and here. And I didn't show up. Nobody could find me after that. I just kind of disappeared. I get in a situation where I'm with this new guy who is a pimp. I haven't done anything yet. But he's grooming me. And I finally agree to do whatever it takes to get drugs. And he tells me the plan. Here's the plan.
Big thank you to Alicia Baum for opening up and sharing her story. And trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss part 2 of this incredible interview with Alicia Bond. I want you to remember that you always have a seat right here on the recovery couch. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Nexus Blue. If your business is buried in manual tasks, disconnected systems, or wondering how to leverage AI the right way, Nexus Blue delivers vendor-neutral technology consulting and automation solutions that help you work smarter. Learn more at www.nexusblue.io. That's www.nexusblue.io.